Good morning, Hope College. Hey, it's Wednesday, which is a really exciting day. For my favorite chapels, as is probably yours, it's Senior Witness Day, which is awesome. Yeah. Hey, before we get to Cooper, though, I just want to give a shout out to our men's and women's swim and dive team, which starts the MIAA championships. Hey, they're going to Calvin, so let's root them on. If you can get up there, go see that too. But hey, this morning I have the pleasure of introducing Cooper Cecchini, and yes, that's how you pronounce his last name. He is a football player on the MIAA champion Hope College Flying Dutchman. He's a leader in Athletes in Action, AIA. He's also an immersion trip leader for spring break. But more importantly than that, what I love about Cooper is that he has built his life on the right foundation of God's love, and he's going to share that story with you today. So let's welcome Cooper Cecchini.
Thanks, Matt. Good morning, everyone. Honestly, it's such a privilege to have the opportunity to talk in front of you guys. My time here at Hope College has been nothing short of a roller coaster. If you told me I'd be up here as a senior witness 4 years ago as I sat as a freshman in these pews, I would have laughed in your face. There was no way I could stand up in front of chapel and talk about my faith. I barely had any. I used my own strength to make my decisions. I relied on my intuition from what I thought was best in my sport, dating, school, social life, you name it. I didn't pray. I didn't read my Bible. I would have said to that person who told me I'd be a senior witness, I don't need God. Why would he put me on that stage? Little did I know I did need God, and well, here I am today. In the midst of preparing this speech, Matt preached on John 16 a couple weeks ago. In verse 33, it says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Knowing Jesus overcame the world is such a relieving truth to rest on, because I don't know about you guys, but relying on yourself for all your strength is exhausting. And for 2 years, that's exactly what I did. I didn't need an angel on my shoulder or a close friend to give me advice on what to do. I came into Hope with this mindset of it's me against the world. I gave my life to football, social life, social media. My identity relied on those things. My identity relied on who thought I was cool, how many passes I caught in the last game, how many people said hi to me in the dining hall. It wasn't until God began to reveal himself to me that I realized those desires, those things I placed my worth in, were really rooted in deeper insecurities. I longed for approval. All I wanted was to be accepted in others' eyes. Acceptance and approval from my parents, my friends, my teammates, my coaches, classmates, you name it. I convinced myself that if other people saw me as successful, then I had made it, that I'd arrived. Spring semester, sophomore year, two of my very best friends asked me if I wanted to go to an Athletes in Action meeting. I had no idea what Athletes in Action was. All they'd mentioned was that it was a sports ministry here on campus that preached the importance of God and sport working together. Honestly, I laughed it off. Why did I need God in my sport? However, after a plethora of calls and texts from them, kind of annoying me, I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I was immediately intrigued. I can still remember that first meeting up on the second floor of Martha Miller. I can't remember exactly the message that was shared, but what I do remember and what I'll never forget is an athlete who boldly spoke about his struggles and what he was going through in his identity. It was God revealing to me that there were other people who felt the way I did, that had the same questions I had. This athlete helped me realize that I wasn't alone on this campus. I began to wonder, what does God really want with my life? Have any of you ever asked that question? It's not an easy question to ask. I began to attend Athletes in Action regularly, listen to what others were going through. I was still hesitant to kind of say what I was feeling, but I began to ask surface level questions about this faith thing as I grew more and more curious to what this life was all about. Looking back, asking myself that hard question has led to a crazy up and down 2 years that I could have never predicted. This summer, going into my junior year of college, I made the decision to give my life to Christ. So you could say I had my big moment. I was at a Christian sports camp through Athletes in Action called the Ultimate Training Camp, and God spoke to me in ways I never thought were possible. This experience led to a spiritual high that was unlike anything I'd ever felt before. I was on top of that roller coaster ride. Honestly, I felt invincible. I felt that everything bad in my life was gone, that because I accepted Jesus Christ, I was just fixed and was some perfect human being. I was so excited to come back to campus and share my experience with just everyone I know, but I was in it for all the wrong reasons. I wanted everyone to know that I was a Christian, that I'd won some prize at camp, that I'd earned this title. The spiritual high that seemed so great at the beginning slowly began to fade away. I had no foundation for this newfound relationship with Christ. I thought I could live off that spiritual high forever. I slowly returned back to grabbing pleasures that this world had to offer. Alcohol, approval, football once again battled for my identity, although now I was boldly proclaiming that my identity was in Christ. I was a Christian at chapel, at church, in my conversations with people, but behind the scenes I was still lost. I was even more broken than before. I shut off from the world, refused to share my struggles and doubts with anyone. I felt that my sins were truly too deep for me to feel the love I knew Jesus Christ had to offer. I'd hit my rock bottom. So what do you do when your identity's in football and you're sidelined with 2 shoulder surgeries? Or when you place your happiness in a relationship and you get broken up with? Or when you study so hard for a final exam only to fail it? What do you fall on? I used to fall on the pleasures of this world. I valued temporary joy over fulfillment in Christ. It led me to feeling lost and alone over and over and over again at nights. This last year and a half has not been easy leading up to this moment on stage with you guys. I learned to lean on Christ in every moment. I've seen him in the eyes of an old friend, in the smiles of winning a conference championship, and in the happy tears of a friend getting baptized. But I've also seen and leaned on God in the hard moments, the moments of doubt and failure, when you just feel like you don't want to go on anymore. I learned to be someone others can lean on and to lean on others. I slowly began to open up, to share my insecurities and struggles verbally with people who I knew were rooted in Christ. It was hard and challenging. It still is to this day. How could someone care about me? I knew God did, but others? I mean, come on, I thought I was just a lost soul. I'm here to tell you this morning that it is crucial to have others in your corner to hold you accountable, that a community is such a powerful entity. A sports team, a school organization, having a group of people to talk about Jesus and your struggles can change everything. I'm a witness to not needing to rely on your own strength for everything. Let me say that one more time. You don't need to rely on your own strength for everything. This life isn't meant to be done alone. I realized at the lowest part of this ride, that this rock bottom I'd felt I'd hit 2 years ago, was just God being the rock at the bottom, grasping onto me, longing to grow in relationship with me. I believe Jesus is speaking to us all this morning in Luke 9, verse 23. It says, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me." So here's me, taking up my cross. It's ironic that I'm up here sharing my struggles with all you guys. What I feared most for almost all of college is what I'm doing on this stage right now. I spent the majority of my college career convinced that if I shared my struggles with other people, that if they knew my story and what I was going through, that they would think less of me. That verbally admitting to my insecurities and doubts would make me less of a Christian. That is so far from the truth. I cared more about what people thought about me than what God said was true about me. God wanted me to know that every day is a new journey, that being a Christian doesn't make life easier. God wanted me to know that his grace isn't a prize, and that a foundation rooted in community is just as important as a foundation rooted in his word. What I swore I would never do as a freshman is what I'm doing right now, letting people in, letting you guys in. I'm here to proclaim that you don't have to meet specific qualifications, or you don't have to earn his love by having some big moment. As I close, let's go back to what Jesus says in John 16. "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." We live in and under God's grace and blessing. Everyone in this chapel right now is at a different place, a different walk with Christ. But we're sitting here serving the same God who has already overcome all of what this world will throw at us. Newsflash, Temptations and struggles, they don't go away for someone who gives their life to Christ. And for so long, that's what I expected to happen. They don't. It's okay to struggle, and it's okay to not be okay. Those were a lot of hard truths that I had to learn. I'm so grateful for the people I've met along this roller coaster that has been Hope College. I want to encourage all of you as you leave here this morning to lean on God and to lean on other brothers and sisters in Christ, not just in the glory, but in the pain. And do not ever be ashamed of who you are. Each one of us sitting here fearfully and wonderfully made. Each one of us are witnesses. Go in peace.